Reds.
So when you hear the name the Red Devils, what do you think of?
Well, the most obvious one that I would think of would be Manchester United, 'cause obviously they're the biggest club in England and they are nicknamed the Red Devils.
How are you faithful when there's nothing to find? I'm seconds away now from changing my mind. How easy it is just to turn away. But how could I miss it when it's there all the time? The time. Oh, I'm on display and there's another record playing in my heart. I'm alive again. I'm on display and there's another record playing in my heart. I'm alive again. I'm on display and there's another record playing in my heart. I'm alive again. I'm on display and there's another record playing in my heart. I'm alive again. I'm on display and there's another record playing in my heart. I'm alive again. I'm on display and there's another record playing in my heart. I'm alive again.
So who are the other Red Devils? We're right here in the heart of Sussex. We're here at the Broadfield Stadium, the home of Crawley Town Football Club. And over the next 35 minutes or so, we're going to be taking a look behind the scenes at the club, right through from the Supporters Club chairman, Steve Leake, to the team manager, Steve Evans. But we kick off with Crawley Town manager, Steve Evans, and I started by asking him what is his daily routine like at the club.
It's normally difficult, Gavin, contrary to what many people think. It's very much depends what day of the week it is, but I suppose a typical, if it was a Monday, I'd arrive at 7:30 in the morning. I would have an overview of the DVD already completed on the Sunday. I would discuss that with Paul Rayner and the backroom staff before the players arrive. Injured players in at 9. I would have a meeting then with the medical guys, have a look at the injury situation, go in, chat to the players as they start to arrive for training, break off with Paul, go through the training programme for the day, take training, come back, have meetings with individual players if it's necessary, and then the afternoon, start to prepare either for the games that you've got that week, start to think about team, start to think about the whole raft of other things we've got to do, look at scouting reports, people that write to us, do the mail. And if we're going to a match that evening, kick off from here straight to the match, or I'll probably leave the ground about 5:30, 6 o'clock. So certainly not that footballer who, if he's not injured, arrives at 10 o'clock and goes at 1:30, 2 o'clock. So a typical day would be 7:30 to 5:30, and if we're going to watch games like we are this evening, then it'll be 7:30 this morning till midnight.
Since being chairman of Crawley Town, I guess you've been through a few ups and downs.
Yes, that's certainly true, Gavin. There's been some good times, but initially there have been some pretty tough times. I took over the chairmanship just over 2 years ago, and I think in that time we seem to have progressed on in a positive manner. We certainly changed a few things at the club, and this season has seen the fruits of all the hard work done in the last 18 months, I guess.
So, Zafar, your company has sponsored several Crawley games and other initiatives. How does it come about you getting involved with Crawley Town in this way?
I think it was about 2.5, 3 seasons ago. Vic phoned up just out of the blue and invited us down to a game. It's as simple as that. We'd been going to Crawley Town games since the move to the new stadium.
Yep.
But only maybe 2 or 4 a season, nothing too great, just me and the kids. And it just started from there. So Vic called us down and we had a look around and we watched a game and then watched another game, and then next thing you know it was sucked in totally, and It just takes over really. First you start off watching the home games, then you end up going to the away games, and then you start knowing all the supporters and where you sit and stuff, and it just takes over really. And
yeah, I first got involved with Crawley Town in 1977. I was reading the local paper, and I thought, I wonder if they got a press officer, because I was working for ITN at the time. So I phoned up one of the people, and they said, well, we'll let you know. Eventually somebody did come back, and they invited me down to pre-season training. And the first person I met down there was Dave Haining, who was manager at the time, commercial manager. And I mean, that's going back to 1977.
And what are the best, worst parts about being Crawley Town manager?
Well, the best parts are undoubtedly winning on a Saturday or a Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it is, and the feeling of when you get in the dressing room, to the team spirit, to when you go home, you sleep very well, you have a buzz, you know, you come in the next morning, everyone at the football club, you know, despite all the issues we always have, such as finance and, you know, the things that need to be addressed with the board and the management team, but we, you know, that's the best part, is winning. The opposite, the worst part is losing. And I know supporters, and there's nobody a bigger supporter of a club than me. I support Glasgow Celtic. I did since I was a day old, and I still do 46 years later. But if I go and watch Celtic, and even in the past when they get beat, you would have your grumbles at the ground, you go home have a grumble, but then you would either be going out for a bite to eat or having a beer or sitting in with the family, and you move on. When you're involved in it, in management and coaching staff, it eats at you almost like a cancer for days. And that's why we often hear the expression is that managers and coaches and players, if it's not been right, would love to be back playing the next day. Physically not right to do that, but that's what you would rather have, so you're back playing. So best is winning, worst is losing, and the other side of the coin, and the worst side, is the amount of administration and paperwork that you have to do now when you compile your reports and your assessments, etc., for answering to your board of directors, who control ultimately the football club.
So could you describe a typical day as a working day as a Crawley Town chairman?
Well, it encompasses quite a lot of areas. I normally arrive in here between 9:30 and 10 Monday to Friday. It's answering emails, answering letters, telephone calls, dealing with issues either football related or fan related, making sure that the club is running in the right direction, talking to sponsors, talking to potential advertisers. It is a very, you can't actually put your finger on any one subject. It's because we are a tight ship here at Crawley, like any other club in the conference. We work in a very small unit, and basically there's a unit of about 4 people in the office, and we all work and pull together, because otherwise the club would never succeed.
What benefits have you seen for Metro Cars investing, sort of taking out sponsorship with the club?
well, it gives us a bit of a profile within the community, because it is a community club. That's the first thing I would say. Secondly, the supporters are quite a tight-knit bunch, and what I found would happen was, at first I didn't think anything of it, and that weren't the reason we were going, but we'd get calls in the office saying, oh, we met you at football, or we met you at football, or you're Crawley Town's taxi firm.
Yes.
And then it just snowballed from there, and instead of 1 call, 2 call, 10 call, 20 calls, until, as far as I know, I mean, most of the supporters use us because they affiliate my company with Crawley Town Football Club. The feeling I get is that they feel a little bit disloyal if they were to phone anybody else, yeah, and they just prefer to use us, which is great. I mean, that's not the reason we did it, but you know, it's great that they feel that way. You know, we try to look after them as best as we can. We pump some money into the club, you know, take hoardings out, and we've got season tickets obviously, and then we do a little bit more, and we get invited to the functions and stuff like that, which is always nice. And the away games are really fun, you know, when you go with the away supporters away, and they just become a big community. And then obviously with this Facebook thing going on, everyone's attached through Facebook, and Crawley Town's on Facebook, and we just know each other through that, really. And the bizarre thing is, little things happen, like you'll go somewhere to buy something, I don't know, maybe some clothes or something, you know, you're in town, and somebody across the counter will say, "Oh, you got Crawley Town, don't you?" And I go, "Yeah, I've got Crawley Town." And you go, "Oh, yeah, yeah," and they'll give you a discount. You know, little things like this. You know, you'll be at Gatwick catching a plane, and you'll get bumped up to business class. You know, just because you go to Crawley Town. And the Crawley Town supporters permeate the whole of Crawley Town, so they're everywhere. So you might be in any given day, you might go to any particular business and you will see someone you know from Crawley Town, and if you don't recognise them, they'll recognise you. You know, it's really good.
So what are the Crawley Devils?
The Crawley Devils are a group that started in February of 2007 to encourage more people, to bring atmosphere to the ground and to bring more colour and support, to make the ground a better place to be and more enjoyable for everyone who watches the club.
How many members are in Crawley Devils?
We don't have an official membership, but in our group on a match day where we stand is anywhere between 15 and 35 people. Hope to have it more next year.
One of the highlights after joining the club was a couple of years later in 1979 when we were away to Finchley in a cup game, and the president of Finchley was Maggie Thatcher, who had just won the election, and she was introduced to us, the teams and officials, and somebody had told her that I worked for ITN, and she said to me, "Oh, you must know Michael Brunson, who's a political journalist," and I said, "Yes, I did." So anyway, cut a long story short, basically at half-time we went in the boardroom and Maggie Thatcher was dishing out cups of tea to us, which was quite nice. But the overall result of the game was pleasing because she'd had a victory in an election, but unfortunately it was a defeat at this time because we won the game 1-0.
So Steve, what was your first Crawley Town game?
I can't tell you the actual club that we played, but it was in the 1956 season when I think we were in the Metropolitan League. So it could have been a league club like the Hammers or the Arsenal. I certainly remember seeing us beat West Ham and Arsenal down at Town Mead. Those were great days. So that's when you could sit pitch side of the fence and watch.
How is supporting Crawley different to supporting a Premiership club such as Arsenal?
It's very much different because you're so much closer to the players in terms of watching them and in terms of getting to know them. You know, going into the bar with them before the game, after the game. It's more like a family than supporting a Premiership team. I mean, I followed Stoke City, but I know that if Crawley were ever to draw them in the FA Cup, there'd be no competition. It would be Crawley Town that I'd want to win.
Hello, I'm Jim Green, Vice President of Crawley Town Football Club. We're in an area which is the hallowed area, and I'll show you now the home dressing room, if you'd like to follow me. An area which Steve keeps very sacrilege. He doesn't like people going in there, and Santanta weren't allowed in when they were filming their live games. So we're very grateful to Steve for letting us have a quick peep at the dressing room, which is all set up, ready for the home game against Gateshead. Here we go. Famous club who have been in here was Liverpool when they used to come training here before their games in the Premiership, which is quite a few years ago now. As you can see on the table is the CD player, which is played obviously before the game. Don't know if it blasts out like it used to do at Wimbledon, but I'm sure it helps the players get focused. Now we go to the physio's room, which is another area where outsiders are not normally in, but it's empty at the moment, so we'll just have a peep in there. I mean, it's empty at the moment, but obviously most times during the week is the hive of activity and a very important part of the club.
Listen, son, we need you on match days. We need you here, focused. But look at the state of you. You can't get around the pitch. We need you around the pitch. What's going to happen? You're not getting around the pitch. You're overweight. You're out of shape. You look like some players we've had here before. It's disgraceful. What are you got to say for yourself?